Congratulations, you have just struck a gold mine. Josh Emmett takes on Lerone Murphy this weekend for UFC Las Vegas, and I am going to give you the best picks on YouTube for absolutely free. Let's get right into it. Josh Emmett can take lights out in the blink of an eye. Look at what he did to Bryce Mitchell. He had that man knocked out cold, seizing for minutes on end afterwards. That was insane. I didn't think Bryce Mitchell was going to come back, let alone wake up from something like that. The power is nuts. It's out of this world. However, do I believe Lerone Murphy will see the same fate? Absolutely not. Lerone Murphy is the better mixed martial artist. He's quicker. He's more technical. He has very, very good cardio. And we've already seen Lerone Murphy pull through a little bit of adversity. You guys remember the Edson Barbosa fight? Lerone Murphy was almost knocked out. That was insane. To come back and win a 5-rounder against Edson Barbosa in the position that he was in, that allows me to make this pick with a little bit more ease at mind. Lerone Murphy should come in. He should be able to pick Josh Emmett apart while avoiding the insane power that Josh Emmett possesses by keeping his range ultimately. The longer this fight goes, the more I favor Lerone Murphy. Give me Lerone Murphy to win this fight via decision, solely because Josh Emmett is one tough MFer. Joanderson Brito has nasty finishing ability, and Pat Sabatini has been finished twice in his last few fights. Sabatini could obviously go in, lock up a submission. He's always live for it, but I do believe Joanderson Brito is going to be very hard to submit, and obviously Pat Sabatini isn't knocking him out. If Brito can go in and avoid giving up his back or giving up a dominant position like full mount to Pat Sabatini, he should eventually find himself finishing this fight, more than likely via TKO over Pat. But don't forget, Joanderson Brito was losing up until he wasn't to Jonathan Pierce. So I would be very, very, very careful with this matchup. Ultimately, I'm going with Joanderson Brito. Give me Joanderson Brito to knock out Pat Sabatini. Submission is live too, though. A club and sub is very live in this case scenario, but knockout is a little bit more likely. So I'm going to steer that direction. Joanderson Brito to knock out Pat Sabatini. Cortavious Romious is taking on ChangHo Lee, and this fight is a coin flip fight. It's going to come down to who makes more mistakes. Romious and Lee are very evenly matched. I'd give Romious an edge in the speed and the striking. I'd give Ho Lee a slight advantage in the wrestling department. And it's just going to be a matter of who can come in and execute the better game plan. I do believe Ho Lee is going to come in. He's going to be able to get his pressure and his control off on Cortavious enough to guide him to a split decision, just barely eking by Cortavious Romious. But don't be surprised if Romious ends up being the one to do more damage and potentially getting a nod as well from a few of the judges. This fight is going to be a split decision. It's got coin flip written all over it, but I'm ultimately going to stick through with Ho Lee. I think his control is going to be enough, and I think he's going to win a split decision over Romious. Kennedy and Nzechukwu versus OSP will never allow me to pick Kennedy with ease at mind again. In a matchup against Martin Buday, Kennedy should come in and he should absolutely smoke him. He should come in, he should finish him within a round, just like he did his last two fights. Within minutes, he should be finishing Martin Buday. Martin Buday's only chance to win this fight is if he can somehow find a way to clinch and hug Kennedy up against the cage for 15 minutes. That's the only way he wins this fight. He's not going to take him down. He's not going to trip him. He's not going to knock Kennedy out. The only way he wins this fight is if he cage clinches him up against the cage for 15 minutes. I am hoping that that doesn't happen. I'm praying that Kennedy comes in and just stiff lines him. The pick is Kennedy by knockout, but I swear to God, if Kennedy finds a way to give this fight up to Martin Buday, if Martin Buday finds a way to win this fight, especially if it's 15 minutes of just cage clinch, 15 minutes of cage clinch, I want Kennedy and Nzechukwu to forfeit his entire purse to Martin Buday. Martin Buday deserves a cage clinching bonus that Dana White will never give him, but Kennedy's purse will suffice. If Kennedy gets clinched up for 15 minutes, I'm telling you right now, he owes Martin Buday his whole entire purse. I'm hoping that won't be the case. Kennedy, please come in and just knock this dude out. Give me Kennedy by knockout. Gerald Meerschaert, especially when he is a dog, is a bad idea to pick against. I really don't want to pick against him here, but his bread and butter is not going to be effective in this fight. Brad Tavares has very good takedown defense. And if it gets to the ground, he's also very good defensively. He's going to be the better striker in this fight. And if Brad Tavares can keep this fight on the feet, he's easily going to win. GM3 is obviously always live with his submissions, but I don't think Brad Tavares is going to fall out of line to give GM3 a chance to submit him. Give me Brad Tavares to come in, dominate GM3 on the feet, and win this fight by decision. Torrez Finney is a monster that just needs to get his feet a little more underneath him, and he's going to be an absolute menace in the UFC. I do truly believe that. He's a physical specimen, but not only that, he's very strong, and he's a great grappler as well. Robert Valentin got controlled, beaten up, and finished by Ryan Loder in his last fight. If Torrez Finney has improved at all since his fight on the Dana White Contender Series, he should be able to do exactly what Loder did, control Robert, eventually beat him up enough to lead him to a finish over Robzilla. Give me Torrez Finney to knock Robzilla out by TKO. Oh my God, I can already hear it now. O'Day Osbourne is 12-9. Don't you know he's on a 3-fight losing streak? O'Day Osbourne is literally a flyweight jerk. O'Day has his back to the wall. I usually don't like backing guys on a 3-fight losing streak, but O'Day Osbourne is way better than his record states. He usually has more trouble with fighters that game plan trying to take him to the ground. Luis Gurule is not going to do that. Luis is primarily a striker, which in my opinion favors O'Day. It favors O'Day in this matchup. O'Day has been in there with some of the best flyweights in the UFC. Manel Kape, Charles Johnson, Asu Almabayev. I think all this experience favors him, which ultimately leads me to pick O'Day Osbourne to beat Luis Gurule by decision. Davey Grant is a bantamweight that is getting up in age. That is not a good mixture at all. Yes, I understand. Davey Grant has only lost to top-level guys. Daniel Marcos and Adrian Yanez via split decision are not bad losses at all. But Davey Grant, I believe, is running out of luck. He's getting up there in age, like I mentioned earlier. Yes, he's savvy, but the shoot-a-box savage, Daniel Santos, should be able to come in, take advantage of his quicker and more powerful striking, use his aggression, and even have a slight grappling advantage over Davey Grant. Give me Daniel Santos to beat Davey Grant by decision. Dione Barbosa is taking on Diana Belbita, and Barbosa is very, very good in the grappling department. But not only that, she's got some decent striking to complement that phenomenal grappling. I think Dione Barbosa should come in here and absolutely dominate Belbita. Take her down, wear her out, and eventually find some nice submission attempts. If you are getting submitted by Meatball Molly McCann, then Dione Barbosa is going to have a field day in the grappling department. Dione Barbosa is a phenomenal grappler, and I see her using that to her advantage in this fight. Give me Barbosa by submission, or even potentially a TKO with some ground and pound if she gets into a dominant position and Belbita refuses to give her back. Do I think Barbosa is going to finish this fight? Yes, I do truly believe that Barbosa is going to come in and more than likely submit Dione Belbita, so give me Barbosa by submission. Rhys McKee just cannot get his feet underneath him. He's 0-4 in the UFC. Yes, he's lost to Khamzat Chimaev, but that doesn't make his 0-4 record any better. Frunza is a little sloppy, but he's very vicious, and he has great fight-ending power, and that's what I'm banking on. I'm ultimately taking Frunza because I believe in that knockout power. It would not be crazy to say that Rhys McKee is the better overall mixed martial artist in this fight, and McKee could especially win if he points Frunza and stays away from that power. But I think Daniel Frunza is going to go for that KO from the absolute start of the fight and find a way to chin Rhys McKee. Give me Daniel Frunza by knockout. Istela Nunes is 0-4 in the UFC. 0-4, with 3 of those losses coming by finish. Look, I get it. Loma, Lookboonmee is a small strawweight, but she is very well-rounded in both her striking and her grappling. Nunes has a little bit of pop in that first round. You know, her striking is not crispy, but it has power. So if Loma can stay as far away from that power as possible, she shouldn't have any issues winning this fight. Give me Loma to come in and win this fight in the most simple way she possibly can. Pressure Istela until she breaks and then pour it on her as soon as you see her gas tank giving in. I wouldn't be surprised if Loma found a way to finish Istela, but I am ultimately going to take her to beat Istela Nunes by decision. Pedro Falcao has very good jiu-jitsu, and he is a threat as long as this fight is on the ground. With that being said, I think Victor Henry has a great chance to keep this fight on the feet. If he can come in and keep this fight on the feet for a majority of those 15 minutes, he will win this fight. He's a better striker than Pedro. However, Henry has to stay aggressive. He can't just be chill, nonchalant, and back up in this fight. If he gets stalled and pushed up against the fence, he could lose this fight very easily. This is Henry's fight to literally lose. If Pedro wins, it's because Henry let him win. He wasn't urgent. He wasn't aggressive enough. But I don't think that's going to happen. I do believe that Victor Henry is going to come in, switch up his game plan a little bit, put some pressure on Pedro, keep this fight standing, and win a decision. Finally, the people's main event of the night, the fight of the night worthy clash between Vanessa Demopoulos and Talita Alencar. Alencar is a wrestler, grappler, but she isn't very dangerous at all in that department. She has good control, but her submissions aren't crazy, and her ground and pound is almost non-existent. Vanessa Demopoulos is also a decent grappler as well. But in this fight, she should have a huge advantage on the feet. Her pressure and pace in the striking should be way too much for Alencar to handle, and I doubt Vanessa is going to get a finish here, but if she stays aggressive and gritty in this fight, it should be a clear victory for Demopoulos. Give me Vanessa Demopoulos to beat Talita Alencar by decision. Guys, if you enjoyed the picks, the breakdowns, the predictions, don't hesitate to drop down, leave a comment, like, and subscribe while you're down there, man. Let me know if you guys agree and who you disagree with. Sway me in the right direction, but I do believe that I picked a 13 for 13 perfect card in this video. I'm telling you right now, the best picks on YouTube. Subscribe for more. I appreciate you guys watching up until this point. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for all the support, the love. I'll talk to you guys on the flip side. Deuces.